Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Questfield. This is Sounders FC Roundtable. Yes, we're outside in the sunshine. Arlo White, Matt Gash, Tony Ventrello. What a contrast to last week's match against the Timbers. And by the way, speaking of the Timbers, since we're in the Brome end here of the stadium, if we were here last week, we'd be covered by some beautiful artwork. Wasn't that something?
Well, it was amazing. I wouldn't be getting sunburned. You know what gingers are like in the sun, Tony. We don't agree. Us and sunshine do not go well together. So I'll be diving
like
for cover.
John Spencer and Ziggy Schmidt.
Yes, indeed. Yes, absolutely. Very similar. I was amazed. I think it's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen at a soccer match. And I'm not just saying that because in England, we don't really have the tifo, the tifosi sort of tradition. And that's mainly Italian. Maybe you see it in Holland and other countries, maybe in Argentina, those sort of places. And I found on the radio broadcast that I was actually, my job at that time was to read out the starting 11s. And I didn't do it. I didn't get to Portland until about 5 minutes into the game because I just found myself commentating on what was going on in this end, and it's very fitting that we're here. It was astonishing, and it was great to see Jimmy Gabriel honoured, and we've talked to him about it today. Schmetz was obviously blown away by it. I know you're talking to Preston Burpo, hoping to get hold of Marcus Hanneman. And then when the big deal came over, the fist with the Timbers badge came over the big screen here, I thought, well, that's just amazing. But they weren't done. Then the Roger thing came up, with the field goal posts here. And the netting, it was truly amazing, and I'm glad that Sports Illustrated and the other national media have got hold of it because it deserves a wider audience.
And speaking of a wider audience and the hype, it was all right there. It's what you want in a match against your rival, Portland Timbers. Now you have coming to town Sporting Kansas City. This is not necessarily a rivalry yet between Sounders and Kansas City, and they are having kind of a flat season, having not played at home. So now you got the danger, maybe, of being a little flat against a team that's not a rival.
I know I don't feel as prepared for this one as I did last week. And I mean, and I'm saying that more in jest, but I think the fans may feel that as well. I think the fans need a reason to get excited for this one, which they haven't really had to this point. And Kansas City's a good team. They've struggled a little bit, but like you said, being on the road for as much as they have, it's a tough start to the year. But they definitely have some talent, and definitely have some guys that can put the ball in the back of the net. Kai Kamara, Teal Bunbury. I mean, you don't want to take those guys lightly.
Absolutely. What I would say about that, Tony, is that had we won the game against Portland, and it obviously ended in a 1-1 tie, meaning we're 3 without a win, had we won on Saturday, I think it would have been even harder to get up for this week. But there is an absolute desire and need for 3 points to get against a team who've got the lowest amount of points in Major League Soccer at the moment. Amazingly, they've only played 7 games, albeit all of them on the road. We played 11. So there's a discrepancy in the schedules at the moment. But I think that need for 3 points just ups the ante for Saturday.
And I think, and Casey Keller brought it up during the pregame interview that I did a few minutes ago. That's actually already up here on SoundersFC.com. So I'm referring to something that's on the same website. No, it's coming. It's going to be up.
Well, you get your pre-game interviews in early, don't you? 3 days
early.
We
like to do them early, a couple of weeks ahead of time. But anyway, he said chip on our shoulder, basically, coming into this one because of exactly what you just brought up. So, so maybe the flat factor is not going to be in effect this week. Now, Kansas City had a tough time with a backup keeper against LA. The defense was a little bit sleepy. They got a couple of guys out of the lineup, but who knows? Maybe the time is right for them. So
we'll wait and see what Peter Vermees decides to do. I thought they had a real soft centre against LA. They lost 4-1. LA never really got out of second gear. They were just so much better on the night, and Kansas City took the lead as well, but they had Colin, the French central defender, and Julio Cesar, the Brazilian. If you look at Cesar's career, Real Madrid, AC Milan, got some great clubs on that I call it a CV. You guys call it a resume, I guess, don't you? But they were soft in the centre. I think Matt Beasler will come back. Eric Kronberg, his 6th season, amazingly, in Major League Soccer with Kansas City. That was his 2nd MLS start. So Jimmy Nielsen taking out the firing line. They've conceded 17 goals in 7 games. Again, we stress all of them on the road, but they've got to get on with it because the stadium isn't ready until June the 9th. So we'll see what sort of defence Peter Vermees puts out. He normally plays a 4-3-3 formation. And like Matt says, absolutely correctly, Teal Bunbury, Kai Kamara. Bunbury, when we're talking about great young strikers, potential in this league, you've got Agudelo at New York, you've got Omar Salgado at Vancouver, and Teal Bunbury's in that company. So he's one to look out for.
Yeah, there's a couple connections too, Matt, between these teams. Tyson Wall played for Kansas City for 3 seasons. Nate Jaquez scored a lot of goals against Kansas City. Mike Facito scored his only goal against Kansas City. So there's some.
And there's a ton through the college level as well. Guys that played together in college. They've got a lot of guys that came through University of California on their team as well. That Tyson played with, a couple that I believe Servando played with as well. This is a team that a lot of guys are familiar with. Even all the way down through the staff. David Tenney worked there. Brett Johnson, our equipment manager, worked there as well.
Does he have a nickname, by the way?
I've heard, yeah, he has.
Not sure.
He's got more than a few.
I've temporarily forgotten too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a team that definitely these guys are familiar with, and I think that helps for sure.
Now we've got referred back a second ago to Mike Facito scoring the big goal in stoppage time last season here against Kansas City. I think he came in about the 80th minute.
Yes.
Scored it in stoppage time.
In this very goal behind the cameras.
Which brings us to our ticket giveaway, because the question has something to do with that match.
Well, right after Mike Facito scored, the party was almost spoiled by a player for Sporting Kansas City. Then the Kansas City Wizards, of course.
Yeah.
We'd like you to name that player right here on the SoundersFC.com comment page. Don't comment on Facebook. Don't comment on YouTube. Make sure it is on the SoundersFC.com page. The first person to get that question correct will have a pair of tickets to the game on Saturday against Sporting Kansas
So we're all
City.
still celebrating. I was in the booth looking at replays of the goal, and I looked up, and this guy was virtually clean through.
Right.
And it almost popped the balloon that had been inflated by Mike Facito's moment. So who was it that almost got the equaliser
That's a
straight
great
away?
question. That is a really good question. The other thing I wanted to just briefly bring up that's probably meaningless, but I just thought of it, is that I was talking to Nate Jaquia, and I mentioned to him, gee, wouldn't it be tough to have to play all your games on the road, your first 7 or 8? He said, well, when I played for Chicago, we played our first 12 on the road. So it's not unprecedented. It's happened before, and it's happening again. So a tough one. We're happy it didn't happen to us. We're happy Quest Field was here.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's happened in this league more than any that I can imagine, because around the world, because of the nature of the game, and you're building new stadiums. Philadelphia did it last year, didn't go well for them.
Right.
Ziggy did it with the LA Galaxy a few years ago. He was 0-4-4 in that situation. It is tough to play every game because it's such an enormous country, you're travelling huge distances, but Livestrong Sporting Park, look out for that. They open June the 9th. It's a fantastic stadium, and I bet they can't wait to get starting playing in there, you know.
Let's wrap it up with a quick update on injuries. And obviously Steve Zakawani out for the season.
Right.
O'Brien White, what's the status?
He still has a couple months, I think, to go. He's out of the hospital though, and he's getting ready to start the rehab process at home. Outside of that, we had 3 guys out last week:
Right.
Brad Evans, Mauro Rosales, Eric Freeberg. It looks like Rosales is probably the most likely of those 3 to play. But we may also see Eric Freeberg and Brad Evans in the mix as well. But Rosales, I think, is the one of those 3 that's going to be most ready to go on Saturday.
All right.
As long as that's all right with John Spencer, you know. We'll work.
Yeah, exactly. What's the over under on a sunny day or a sunny evening Saturday?
I think it's going to be a sunny day and a rainy evening.
All right. Yeah. We love that. All right.
Again, I think we got another one of those coming.
From Quest Field and the Brougham end, that is it for this week's Roundtable. Arlo White, Matt Cash, Tony Ventrella. Hey, you know what? Our comment page is good for comments as well, which is why we call it the comment page. So if there's anything you'd like to see on this program that we don't bring you now, let us know. Comment on it. We'll bring up your comment.
And I want to thank everyone last week, as a lot of people said a lot of really nice things to me.
They did?
I thought, walking around at the stadium before the game, I thought everyone was. I got a lot of compliments on my sweatshirt. I got somebody said my hair looked really nice, and I'd forgotten that you told everyone the first person to say something really nice to me would get a free pair of tickets. So my self-esteem was boosted dramatically last week, and
momentarily.
Feel free to do that again next week if you want. I don't have any tickets to give you, but I'm always happy to see the smiling faces of Sounders.
Well, that's great. Well, your hair does look great. Matt, Arlo, see you next week, everybody. That was funny. I forgot I did say that.